This is Beth. I crafted her over 5 years ago with a little help from her mother. Like most 5-year-olds these days, she's a little obsessed with YouTube. And so when I asked her to help me out in my next video, she absolutely leapt at the chance.
And Beth.
It is October, the Halloween season, and I asked Beth to design me a monster. Take it away, Beth.
This is Kia, and this is my monster what I drawed. His teeth are very sharp, but his teeth are very dirty. On the side of the evil bat's wings, Kia, he has arms stuck to his wings, and his eyes are very blue, but not that dark, a little bit light.
Hello, my name's Dan. This is Dan Does. Welcome to episode 7. In this episode I'm going to be making a horror sculpt, but it has with a twist. There's a twist. The monster has been designed by my 5-year-old daughter, as you would have seen in that intro just then. She drew it because I asked her to draw a monster. She draws monsters all the time, but I'm not sure if it's because I ask her to draw monsters that she draws monsters, and you'll see why in the episode. But she seemed to enjoy it. I just hope that she likes the end result. So enjoy the show. Thank you. I'll see you at the end. Right at the end of the video. So this is episode 7, and already I'm relying on others for content, i.e. my 5-year-old daughter Beth. Oh, and by the way, have you guys seen this? Fresh from the labs. Self-balling tinfoil is great for sculpting. Look at this. No, but seriously, that was a poor stop animation. Don't go out and try and buy this stuff. It doesn't exist. Here's some more. See? It rolled off. I did that very slowly. It's covered itself in clay, which is sculpty medium firm. I'm going to start by rolling out a big old fat kielbasa. That's a type of sausage of clay, and then equally dividing that up into 3 parts, because if you look at the Beth's drawing, the monster has 3 teeth, and this will be used to make the gums. By the way, you will notice that in this video the lighting changes quite drastically between what's supposed to be seamless transitions, and that's because my work table is positioned right next to the window. And I decided to open the blinds to let a little vitamin D into the room, as doctors and family have recommended, but who cares about vitamin D when your editing is terrible? Here's a ball stick. I'm going to use this to press into the centre of the mouth there, between the trifecta of gums. I'm going to press in as much as we can until we hit foil, basically. And how's that for camera work there? You can't see a bloody thing. Dan, you and your freakishly large hands, what are you doing? Oh, wait, no, apparently now I'm using the smaller ball stick to press holes, indentations ready for teeth that I will be making next. With our old buddy Fimo translucent clay. Well, there are 3 gums, so obviously I need 3 teeth. For 3, that's it, I've got it written down. Made some big old gnashes, and because they're so large and there's only 3 of them, I'm going to use my art shiv to scratch in some sort of lines and cracks, sort of going at different angles here, just to take slight slivers of the Fimo away. Just give them a bit more texture because they're larger and more noticeable. It's science. And also remember what Beth said.
His teeth are very sharp, but his teeth are very dirty.
Thanks, Beth. See, with the indentations, it will help dirty these teeth up later on. I've pressed the teeth into the clay before baking the gums, and then I've removed them ready to be glued later on. Right, so now I'm rolling a longanisa of a sausage. I think that means long sausage. I googled that literally before I recorded this thing. And I'm going to use this to make a lip. And I got some new tools.
Is it safe?
These are dental tools, and I got this idea. Well, I didn't get the idea. I stole this idea from Ace of Clay, who already uses these things, and it's a great idea. These are very good. I'm using these to make indentations along the lips, give the lips a bit of a chapped look. Needs a bit of the old Vaseline or lip seal, lip balm. Get a bit of lip balm on there, Kia. I'm also doubling up on the lips, just to make it a bit more interesting. So I've done the lip along the top there, that's the top lip, and I'm about to do the bottom lip. Now, this isn't the first time that Beth and I have done a collaboration. I used to be a graphic artist, and she likes to draw. So here's an example of a drawing she did when she was 3. And this was my interpretation of it. I believe her exact response was,
It's rubbish.
I'll chuck a couple more collaborations in later on throughout the episode. I'm beefing out the chin now on this Kia with just a lump of clay. And I'm using a texture tool, homemade texture tool, to give that chin some texture. I'll make sure I do this to all of the layers now, because I don't know what's going to be covered and what isn't going to be covered as I add more with every bake. I add a couple of lumps to each side of the head now, ready for the eyes. I don't know what's going on with the sound effects here. It's usually a pop. I don't know why it was a fart sound. Do you know why it was a fart sound, Beth? She's just shaking her head. Now these are cabochons, glass cabochons. Now I'm going to paint them in a gradient of Andrea blue to what is the best type of paint you will need in an interrogation room. Third degree. It's supposed to be third degree. Third degree. Going to start with the verdigris, the third degree, the verdigris in the centre because it's lighter, and then work my way out to Andrea blue because
His eyes are very blue, but not that dark, a little bit light.
Thanks again, Beth. Now, I know that some of you might be watching this thinking, yeah, you got a kid, everybody likes their own kid, but don't push your kid on us. That's fine, because I'm exactly the same. But if you can put up with this, then just know that she's going to absolutely love this episode when it goes live. It's a one-off, maybe. Comment below, let me know what you think. Right, so I've added eyelids and a few bags under the eyes there just to give it a bit more detail around the eyes. And I've textured those with the horrible dental tool. And now I'm going to add a lump on its head, like a hump thing. At this point I'm kind of winging it. I just want to, it's because the design was just a round ball. So I'm trying to add a bit more sort of detail to it. And I'm going to take this moment to say that these dental tools are very good. And very cheap. I think that set was, I mean, I'm never going to use the tiny mirror. I mean, you could use it to check whether somebody's breathing in that grim circumstance. But yeah, the rest of them, I think it was about £6 for the set on Amazon. Now, Beth's design was from the front, so I decided to add a towel at the back just to make it a little bit more interesting. I'm attaching with some Super Sculpty Bacon Bond. This is the bit of the video where it gets a bit high octane. This is an actual drill, a power drill, I stress power. And I'm using this to make a hole in the bottom of the Kia so I can shove this transparent cocktail stirrer up its jacksie. Just hoovering up its innards there. And drilling into the base, and once this thing's connected, this thing is sturdy as hell. Well, it will be. This is a coil of steel wire. I'm going to use this to make the wings. And we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 limbs, because that was what was specified in the artwork. And I don't know what's going on with this camera effect here. I thought I'd try something. It's just confusing. I do apologise. I'm using cosclay firm for the wings, for the arms, because they are going to be thin and hopefully flexible. We don't want those things cracking. Super Sculpting just will not cut it. And before we move on to the next bit, here's another example of a collaboration that Beth and I had done in the past. I thought this was a great one. I had plenty to work with here, the tentacles and the teeth and things. But it wasn't what she expected. When I ran to show her the thing, she again responded with,
It's rubbish.
There's just no pleasing that girl. Anyway, back to the sculpt. Each of the 6 arms has 3 fingers or claws, and I use a tiny ball stick to press in indentations ready for the claws. Next, get out our friend Handy McDowell to add a bit of texture along those tentacles. And looking at these limbs, they're very similar to the limbs on my Candy scratch-built robot. If you want to go back and watch that video, and thinking that maybe she saw that and was inspired. But these could all be from the same universe. That's what I'm thinking. See, we'll get some kind of lore going here. Need to make 3 claws for each leg. That's 6 legs. That's 3 times 6 times 3. About 700, probably. This isn't a maths lesson. You didn't come here for mathematics. So unlike the teeth, because there was only 3 of those, I Super Sculpty bacon bonded these claws straight into the arms, because I wasn't going to faff about trying to find out which claw goes into which arm. Now it's time to attach the arms, the 6 arms, to the torso using a pin vise. And drilling 6 holes, 3 on each side near the towel. I'm using my best judgment here. I'm not measuring or anything. And hoping for the best. Yeah, that'll do. It turns out fine. This is future Dan. From the future, telling you it looks fine. I'm going to stick it with super glue. Very, 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 very cheap super glue. It's basically water and child's spit, but it seems to work. Oh, here she comes.
On the side of the evil bat's wings, Kia, he has arms stuck to his wings, and then there's some up the top and some at the bottom.
And I am hoping that this is what you had in mind, Beth. We're going to take out the pasta maker to flatten out some cosclay into sheets, ready for wings. Now, I've never done this before. Quite tricky, but cosclay is great for this. Here we have a sheet, just a few millimeters thick, and I'm going to lay this across the back of the wings, but not before I give Kia a lovely little bacon bond massage. Just rub in that cream gently there. Going anywhere nice on your holidays? Some people don't want to talk when they're getting these things done, so the key is not to take it personally. With that sheet placed on the arms, gonna just gently blend in the edge there. Going to take out my art shiv and gently cut around the other wing, the other edge of the wing there, the other arm. And then when we get to the end, do the classic bat wing arc shape that we've drawn many a time as kids. I'm sure everybody can draw a bat wing. Flip it over and then press down very lightly, because the wing wants to be curved away from the face. With a ball stick, make some vertical dents in the wing there, classic bat wing. And then we're going to take the homemade texture tool and attempt to add a bit of texture to the back of the wing, but it is very thin and very difficult to do, so be gentle. Just be gentle. Off camera, I've ripped at the edge of the wing there just to pull tiny bits off to make it look tattered, and I'm taking a tiny ball stick now to make some holes in the wing. This is classic bat wingage. And once that's done, I do heat each wing slightly with a heat gun just to firm them up a bit so I don't damage them. And do that 4 times, and that's the wings complete. And they look alright. Thank God. Hey, it's Dan here. Didn't have time to make a fancy video, but I'd just like to say thank you very much to my patrons. A special thanks to Ed Trox, Gemma Ingram, Jake Langford, Carl Buckley and Shy Talk for being in the Do Betters tier, and of course to the next tier you'll get an almost as emphatic thank you. Thank you very much to Andy Scott, Anthony Roberts, Benedict Mueller, Cathal Grant, Chris Gilliard, Demon Mittenhands, Emmanuel Waspanus, Gert Gervans, Carl Deakin, Krista, Larry, Mike Pitt, Rabies of Lard, Rich Miles and Stuart Ashen. And a thank you very much to the rest of you. Sorry if it sounds like I'm favouring others, but that's just what you have to do with Patreon. It doesn't mean anything. Personally, I like you all. It's just it's the way it's done. Thank you, patrons, and if you wish to join Patreon, please consider doing it. It helps support this channel and keeps this channel going. And there's a link in the info. Thank you. On with the show. And we're on to the painting stage now, and I'm going to give this monster a base coat in Deco Art Crafters Acrylic Black, because it's cheap, because I need a lot of it, and this Deco Art stuff actually gives quite a good matte look. It's not the same as model paints. It's very matte, gritty to the touch, which is good for this. Next, on to the model paints, the Vallejo paints. I'm going to use some dark flesh tone for the gums. And while those gums are still wet, I'm going to blend in a little of the most romantic rose you can possibly buy, a brown rose, not a euphemism. I'm going to mix that in as a highlight, just to pull focus to the teeth, I think, when the model's done. Now it's time to get our elderly old dears in here. We've got Blue Violet and Old Rose. God bless the pair of them. Hope they're doing well.
Violet, my love, how are you? Is everything alright? How's the kids?
Oh, kids are fine. It's the grandkids I'm worried about. Don't get me blooming started, Rose.
Oh no, what have they done now, Vi? What they done? They've been stealing cars again?
No, they wouldn't bloody dare. Nice. They're on their bloody computers all day long now. On the YouTube, looking at stuff and you know, bloody stupid annoying videos and all that.
Ah, come on, Vi, there's nothing wrong with that. Bit of YouTube's fine for the kids. Remember the kind of things we used to get up to? Maybe if we had YouTube, that guy wouldn't have died.
We said we'd never speak another word of that. Keep your bloody voice down.
There ain't no one around, Vi. Calm down. Nobody can hear us.
Don't you bloody tell me to calm down, right? It were a mistake. We should never have been in that quarry, next to that 40 power station, with those giant cables. And that pet shark. We should never have done it, Rose. We should never have done it. It were your bloody idea.
Don't you bloody blame me, Vi. I didn't do anything without your say-so. You were the boss, but you're not the boss of me anymore. Sometimes I wish it were bloody you that fell in the quarry. Yeah, that's bloody right. Old Rose ain't putting up with this no more. You're a bloody drag. Vi, you're miserable, you're a drag, and that priest should never have died that day, Vi. Vi! I can't believe my bloody ears. I can't believe the words coming from your lips, Rose. But I tell you what, we ain't friends no more.
And I hope there's something really oh shit, what's going on? Rose! What's happening, Rose?
I've mixed the pair together to get this purpley pinky tone for the face and cover the whole thing, and then the back of the wings. And once those are done, I'm going to start on the arms. I'm going to start at the base of the arms with this shade that I've mixed and gradually work my way up to the lighter pink that the original illustration was. Get a nice grading and give it a bit more interest. And it looks pretty. This is just a lot of wet blending, and I think the very tips, the hands, are 100% old rose. And looking at the end result, I'm quite happy with this. And I'm going to take this opportunity to show you one last collab between myself and my 5-year-old daughter Beth. This one is my favourite. Now, Beth explained to me afterwards that this was some kind of creature in a cage. I can see that now, but what I saw was this. And needless to say, she's not a fan of this one. In fact, she said,
It's rubbish.
now I'm going to use purple. No fancy name, it's just purple. It is the very first of the purple range. I'm going to use this for the inside of the wings because it's darker than the other colours. Paint the entire wings there, and then once I've done that, I take a little bit of sponge and dab a bit of brown rose, I believe it is, over the top of parts of it. Just little specks, just to add a bit of detail. And now it's the dry brushing stage, using the colour that is often used to describe my own skin tone. Pale Flesh. Do this very lightly over everything. You can really ruin a piece if you dry brush too much. Next I use a red wash, mainly around the lips and the eyes, just to make it look a bit sore. This is a monster at the end of the day. We want it to look uncomfortable. And in turn, we will be uncomfortable. I also add a bit of red wash to the extremities to make them look a little tender also. And once I've done the lips and the eyes, I add a flesh wash over the entire model, just so everything marries together. That is quite satisfying, I'm sure you'll agree. Once the entire thing's covered and it's dry, that's the end of the painting stage for now, I think. Yep, I think that's it. And it's time to add the teeth. Now we really want those teeth to hang tough, and we want them to hang tough strongly and quickly, so luckily I have a bottle for that. Right, we got those teeth in, and I've been desperate to pop these teeth in since I made them, but I've had to wait until the painting process was done so I don't ruin them with paint. And once the teeth are in, it's time to give them a sepia wash to dirty them up. Is this dirty enough for you, Beth? But you make sure you brush your teeth, okay? Every day. And now it's on to the UV resin. Well, it's got two roles. First, to make the teeth look awesome. And the second is to make sure the teeth never fall out. This UV resin will be very strong when it's dry. So I coat the teeth, the gums, some of the lips, a little bit around the eyes as well. A bit of UV resin. Then I put it out in the garden to dry. I didn't use technology, I used the sun. I wanted to add just an extra little touch to Kia, so I'm going to use this jute twine, I believe it's called. It's just basic string. I'm going to use it to make hair, which but first I need to get it the right colour. So I've got these new cups from the Poundland. They're actually, I think they're for Jaeger bombs, which means there's an outside cup and an inside cup, which just confused things, to be honest. But I'm adding a bit of old rose to the water, and I'm dunking the entire bit of string in there. Realised that wasn't enough colour, so I added some red ink to the whole thing just to get the whole bit of string stained, and then let the string dry out in the sun for about 20 minutes. And there we go. It's kind of a pink bit of string, which I'm going to untwine. I'm going to untwine to its very fibres, to its very core, unthread it to its basic fibres, and then trim these fibres very carefully, and then attach them to Kia with some super glue. And this was difficult. Hair went everywhere, but I managed to do it. I mean, I did intend to do a lot more hair on Kia than there is, but eventually I did a bit on its face and a bit on its tail, but you'll see that in the final shots. We're coming to the end of the video now, getting ready for the showcase, and I'd just like to take this opportunity to say, hey, if you've enjoyed this video, there'll be more to come, so please do consider subscribing and maybe doing that bell. That's what people say. Liking the video helps as well, and comments and all that sort of stuff, so thank you very much for watching. There's also a Patreon if you'd like to support me financially and ensure that these videos continue. Thank you very much. On to the glamour shots. Oh hi, this is the end of the video. While setting up to film these this last bit to camera, I accidentally dropped Kia. And Kia. I don't know why. I think she called it Kia because she likes IKEA. She's a big fan of their meatballs. I think that's what it was. But hey, I think I dropped Kia and the base snapped off, but I do have a replacement because the base actually snapped in half when I tried to drill out the that's a long story, but I'll get it fixed. But luckily the model's still in it's alright. See? Thank you very much for watching. If you wish to continue watching my videos, thank you. Please do consider subscribing and all that. And there is a Patreon, and the next episode I'm hoping to get out before Halloween. It will be Halloween themed, which is weird really. I really should go in the other direction because all of my videos have pretty much been horror things. So where do I go from there? Apparently I need to wait around a few seconds just so the thumbnails and things are there for longer, and that you can sort of click those if you want to. So oh, what's that there? There's a thumbnail there. Still getting used to this YouTube lark.